All right, I think we're live on air. So thank you all, thank you team for joining us tonight. I am so excited to be interviewing our very own Jocelyn Edison. She has been just rocking this business. She is a rock star, and I am so excited about this. She joined us back in August. Is that right?
Yes.
August. And you know, she got started, was signing some loyals, working her business, but she went to conference with us in January, and she is just on fire. She has signed 11 distributors, personally signed 11 distributors since conference, so it's been like 5 weeks. And I'm just so excited to hear from her and hear what she's doing to just take this to a whole nother level. So Jocelyn, go ahead and just share with us, and what are you doing?
Well, honestly, if you had told me back at the start of this year, at the beginning of January, that I would be the guest on a call about how you signed so many distributors, I probably would have laughed at you and told you were nuts. Because right before conference, we had been doing this business for about 6 months, and we had been averaging about 4 loyals every month. We had 2 distributors. One of them was my mom, who signed purely to get me an entrance into the $20,000 giveaway that they were doing. That was the only reason. And we hadn't promoted once to executive. So things really, they were just kind of hanging out, stagnant. We were getting some loyals, but that was kind of it. So then we went to conference, and I remember when Mark announced at the end of conference about the double good bonus. And Bonnie was crying and screaming, Heather was crying and screaming, everyone was crying and screaming, happy tears, because they had their charts out, they knew that they were so close already, and I could see in their faces that they knew they were going to be doing this, and I was probably the only person in that room that was standing there with like a look of death on my face, because I wanted that bonus so desperately for our family, and I just remember thinking, I don't know how this is going to happen. I had seen the diamond chart. I had 2 distributors. Hadn't even promoted to executive. And I just walked out of that auditorium with like a sinking feeling in my stomach thinking, I want this desperately, but it's something that I just don't know how I'm going to make this happen. So what I did was I hopped in the car. We were driving to go have dinner at one of the girls' houses, and I just sat there in traffic and said, okay, God, I will work as hard as I need to work to do this. I will do everything my upline tells me to do. I'll work my butt off, but I am not going to make this happen myself. So you're going to have to come in. And it was the first time that I actually gave my business over to him, which is something I should have done from the start. But the first 6 months, I was trying to do it myself and trying to make it happen myself. And in that moment in the car, I said, okay, I'm giving it to you. I know that I can't do this myself. I'm not going to make this happen myself. I'm giving it to you. I just ask for wisdom, you know, let me know, guide me, and I'm going to trust you. And if this is what you have for us, then you're going to have to come. I basically said, God, you're going to have to do something big because it's not happening for us. So that's what I did, and that's actually the first thing that I do every day. And sometimes I have to do it 25 times a day because I start to stress and I start to get anxious. But the biggest thing that I can share with everybody is you've got to just surrender your business, because we can't do anything of our own power. So once you're willing to give that over to God and say, okay, God, I will do what I need to do. I'm not going to sit back on my butt and wait for you to bring it to me. I'm willing to work. But when you stop trying to do it in your own power and you recognize that you're working this for His glory ultimately, things just start to happen, and that's what we're seeing. So it was right after I prayed that the next thing that I am teaching my team and trying to get across to everyone the importance of is to call people. I think so often we are behind the computer, and I'm guilty of this too. We're comfortable with text messaging, with messaging on Facebook. It's easier. It sort of makes that no if it comes feel not as hurtful. But if you call people, they hear the excitement, and it communicates and translates so much better. So after I prayed, which is the first thing I started doing differently, I picked up my phone. I know you're not supposed to talk and drive at the same time, but I'm guilty. I picked up my phone, and there were 3 girls that I called. None of them answered. I left all of them a message, and I said, I just left conference. This is amazing. I can't even tell you how badly I want you on this journey with me. Call me back. I want to talk to you. And 2 of them signed within 24 hours. And the third one, we're still playing phone tag, so she hasn't said no yet. Just getting to talk to them on the phone made a world of difference. So when you're talking to PDTs, if you don't have their number, get it as early as you can in the conversation, whether it's that you're blitzing and you think that you're talking with them and they seem to be interested, get a phone number, because then you can call and you can talk in person and things just translate a lot better that way. And remember that you're planting seeds. So these, actually the first 4, the 4 that we signed in that 48-hour period from Saturday night through Monday night after conference were all people who were, 2 of them were already loyals. One was my really good girlfriend who was a neighbor across the street. I had gone and wrapped her once, and we hadn't talked about it for 6 months after that. We had never even talked about the business side. The 4th one is one of my closest friends, and I had spent a couple hours on the phone with her in the weeks prior. So these 4 people were people that we had already planted seeds with. And then as I was talking with them and calling them on the phone, it was like it was time to harvest. They were ready to jump in and go. So remember, if you're getting frustrated now and feeling like it's not happening now, just focus on that you are planting these seeds and water the seeds and just keep going back. And don't always ask about the business, guys. Focus on the relationship. That is so important. Just even if you have to go to the Facebook page and kind of check out what's been happening lately, because I don't know about you, but I really don't get to scroll much anymore. I'm so busy with everything else. So I have to go and check in to kind of see what's happening so that I know what to be asking them about and talking about. But don't always focus on the business. Develop a relationship too, because that goes a long, long way. So first, give your business to God. That's what I did. Second, I started calling people. And then the third thing that I've found that has made a difference is I started offering the business to everyone. And I know our upline has said this over and over again, but it just didn't really resonate with me. But that's what I've started doing. So when somebody asks me, okay, what's the deal? Tell me about these wraps. Well, tight and tone and firm, anywhere on your skin, yada, yada. And they say, okay, so how do I order? What does it cost? I always respond with, well, you have 3 options. You can buy retail, but I really don't suggest that because you'll pay a whole lot of money. You can sign as a loyal customer and save 40%, and then I throw in there, or you can join my team and have the opportunity to get boxes for just $25 and get a $120 product credit. And then I stop and I wait. Ashley Sinclair, and I know a lot of our top distributors say it, is don't answer the question that isn't asked. You fight that urge. Just stop and wait. I had one of our distributors, one of our newest ones, messaged me asking about the wraps. Told her they tight and tone and firm. She said, okay, how do I order? Gave her the 3 options. She said, okay, where do I go to sign up as a loyal customer? So I walked her through. Okay, here's my website. Click on shop, yada, yada. Thought, great, I got another loyal. When I went and signed into my e-suite, an hour later, she had signed up as a distributor. She hadn't even talked to me about it. It was just because I threw that out there as an option, and when she was on the website, she started looking at it and thought, oh, okay, I should do this. So never assume that someone's not interested. Just always throw it in there, and you never know where it might go.
I love it. You made a bunch of awesome points that I love. First of all, you're saying about giving it to God, and that is such a huge thing, and I know for me that I can get caught up in building my business and stressed about it and all those things, and then I just have to be like, wait a second, like I'm doing this for His glory. I'm doing this because He's given me this blessing, and I want to honor Him with that. So I just have to remember to give it to Him sometimes, and pray about it, and pray for my business, and pray for my distributors, and pray about the people I'm going to meet and share this with. And I do that especially like when I'm going blitzing and stuff like, God, who are you going to put in my path today? I might need this business, or need this wrap, or need one of these products or something. So praying about it is so important, definitely. And offering the business to everyone, that's something, that I was thinking about as you were talking, and then, you touched that point at the end. But yeah, offering it to everyone, and I love the way that you do it. I love that you're like, reach retail, don't really suggest it because you're paying a lot of money. Loyal customer, awesome discounts. Or become a distributor, get boxes of wraps for 25 bucks and the free product. And that it truly is. It's truly that simple. Especially if they're asking about the wraps and getting those wraps for $25 a box. You know, who doesn't want to get the wraps at less than, yeah, what is that, 25% of retail? It's awesome. So yeah, I just love those points that you touched base on. And planting seeds, and you're right, and building relationships is so important to continue to build those relationships. And even after people tell me no, potential distributors are like, I don't think I'm going to do it right now, I continue to build those relationships. You know, right before we got on this call, I was talking to someone who is a potential distributor, and she decided not to do it. She actually signed with a different company. But she is now asking me about hair, skin, and nails and all these products that we have. And I'm like, see, you should have signed with me. But you never know. You just continue that relationship because she might end up just being an awesome, loyal customer. And that's fine, too, because loyal customers are what build our paycheck. So exactly. Always building that relationship, always planting seeds. And I think it's important not to convince people. You know, you never want to convince someone to join your team. You need to share the opportunity, share what you have. Because you're planting seeds when you're sharing. When you start convincing, you're really pushing people away. So, and that's just something that's really been on my mind a lot recently, is that I don't want to ever convince or be pushy with people. I just want to build the relationship and share my experience, whether it's through Facebook posting or through, you know, messages or talking and that type of thing. Is always sharing, not being pushy, and not really trying to convince someone to join you. Because the people, you know, it's funny, the people that I've convinced to join me, especially when I first started, I was trying to convince everyone, like, you've got to do this, and like, I was dragging them into the business with me. None of them ever did anything. I was lucky if they had their launch party. And those aren't the distributors you want. You know, you want people on your team who are going to work with you and do this with you. So I just love all the points that you have. And only sharing what's asked. That's the other thing you said, and that's so important, whether it's a potential distributor or loyal customer, but you answer the questions and you don't say everything, you know.
I was so guilty of that at the start.
Oh my gosh, girl. Okay, so when I first started, someone messaged me about the wraps, and I literally sent them a book. I explained everything I knew about the wraps and about how to use them. I explained the entire retail program. I explained everything about the loyal customer program and everything I knew about being a distributor and signing up. I'm surprised anybody responded to that, because it was like, it was forever long. It took me forever to write it. And then they're like, don't share all. I was like, oh, like, I need to back up. It makes it easier on me. It makes it easier on them. I mean, if someone sent me a message like that, I wouldn't respond to it anyways. I'd be like, I'm not reading all that. So don't give people a book. Just answer their questions. So important. And I love, like I said, I love the way that you explain it. You know, retail, loyal customer, discount, or become a distributor, get discounts, start making money with me.
Right. And even when you're explaining being a distributor, the same thing applies. You will scare people away if you try to detail everything and lay it all out. Keep it simple. Okay, so it's $99 to start. You get 4 wraps. We set up a party and sell them. You've made your money back. Then I tell people, after that, you have 30 days before you have to spend another dime to see where this takes you. You can get the $120 credit. You can get the boxes of wraps for $25. You can be commissions qualified at $150. Now, I recommend that you run your auto ship. You need to use the product. But you just have to keep it simple. Well, on the website's $20, and you have to spend $80 a month on an auto ship. And, oh, by the way, you have to do this and you have to do that. They can't take it all in. They can't process it all. So I focus on the basics. $99. The bonuses they can earn in the first 30 days, and then after those 30, as those 30 days approach, then we'll talk and go from there and see what you're feeling and if you want to continue. Because once people get into this and see how quickly it takes off, they go nuts. One of my girls signed, and I love her to death. I talk to her on the phone almost every day. You know who you are, and I love you. I know she's watching right now. And I have never even met her. She went to high school with my husband. I cannot wait until green carpet in July when I actually get to hug her in person and see her, because I feel like I've known her forever. But her first 2 weeks, She didn't do anything. She basically signed because she knew we were working for a bonus and she wanted to help us. So she was like, I'm not really going to lose anything, so I'll sign just to help them out. But then when Hope went up for her party and she saw at the party what this was really about, she's on fire. She's fully charted for Ruby now. In the last, well, I think it's been like 3 weeks, I think. She is on fire, and she just caught it. And so, I guess even as you're talking to people, once you sign them, don't forget about them. It's really important, especially for that launch party, to get that party on the books and for them to really see what we're about as a team, what this is about for other people, and how excited they get, because it's like then they catch it. So don't miss that. Don't let that wait too long. I think that's really important. And you just really have to be there for your team too as you're building, whether you have 1 team member or 20. You just really have to be there to talk to them and guide them through. And again, don't hit them with everything the minute they sign. I take the approach with my team, as it comes up, we address it, because different people are in different places and you don't want to overwhelm them. So I kind of let them know, as you have questions, call me, text me, we'll deal with it as it comes. Because if I were to try to explain everything to you at once, you would just sit down in a corner and be like, I have no idea how I'm going to do this. So you just have to keep it simple all the way around, I think.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Keeping it as simple as possible, because it is extremely overwhelming. I remember getting started as a distributor and getting on our Facebook group and being like, what's BV? Like, what's I didn't know what LT mean, what DT meant. I was so confused. I was like, I don't know what any of this stuff is. And I finally one day was like, okay, I've got to look this stuff up, because there's all this terminology that was so confusing to me. But you're right. So keeping it simple is so important. And then you mentioned about the 80 auto shipment. I heard someone say it this way the other day, and it was just like light bulb. But we all, doesn't matter what level they're. I mean, the ambassador diamonds, the top income earners in the company, we all started this business because we needed money, because we couldn't afford life.
Exactly.
We start this business because we need money. No one started saying, I've got an extra $100 a month to spend. None of us started thinking, oh yeah, no problem. We all started, and I'm sure many people started thinking 80 BV, I gotta buy product, and be nervous about that. It's not uncommon, I think, to be a little nervous about that. So I think it's so important to ease the mind of a potential distributor, saying, you've got 3 days. You're going to get your free products in that 30 or wraps at a discounted price. You're going to build a paycheck, before that comes up. And the more you work, the bigger your paycheck will be to cover that cost. You're going to sell wraps, and you're going to sell the wraps that you get with the auto shipment and stuff too. So I think it's just so important to keep that simple and to not stress over it. Like, you shouldn't stress over it, and don't stress about it, because none of us could afford it when we started. We all started thinking, I can't afford that, so I'm going to work really hard to make sure that my paycheck covers it. And then also the launch party. You mentioned the launch parties, and I try to make sure every distributor that I enroll launches. My goal is to launch within a week, but definitely within the first 2 weeks. It is so important to get those launch parties in as fast as possible, because they're excited when they sign up. They're ready to get going and to just rock this business. So you want to get that launch party scheduled when they're excited, keep that excitement. And maybe they haven't caught the vision yet, but maybe they'll catch it at their launch party, like Jocelyn was saying, and they'll just be on fire then. So, get that launch party in, get them their 4 loyal customers so they get that free product, so they're getting the wraps at a discount. Launch parties are so, so, so critical. And you never know. I mean, they might be signing distributors at their launch party. I've done tons of launch parties and helped enroll more distributors. And so then you're helping them get their Ruby bonus, which is incredible too. You're helping them work towards that. So that is definitely extremely important.
And I think the most important thing, especially for everyone watching now, because if you're watching now, you're already a distributor. So the most important thing is to remember, and you see this all over the company, but it really is important, is don't compare yourself to someone else. You know, I know some of the girls on my team are like, well, how are you doing this? I haven't signed one yet. And I just go back to them and say, this took 6 months. You know, I did not start like this out the gate. You can't compare yourself to someone else because, like Ashley Sinclair said at our One Team, One Mission last week, she said, you don't know what everyone else is bringing to the table when they start their business. She said, I was on fire right away, but I had owned my own business for 8 years. I already had a massive network of people that I could pick up the phone and call. Someone else might not have that. You might have to take time to build that network before you can start signing those loyals and those distributors. So you can't compare yourself to someone else and think, well, why am I not going as fast as they are? Because really the only way to fail in this business is to quit. It is that simple. The only way that you will fail is if you just decide you're not going to do it. All you need is 150 to get your paycheck. If you have no money and you're just starting, focus on that 150 first and build from there. If you don't hit that 150, it's okay. You don't get penalties and you don't get kicked out of the company. You focus then on the next month and build on the next month. And really, the Facebook posting is the most important thing, too, to do that every single day. But don't compare yourself and don't give up because it will pick up for you and it will take off for you. I think I saw somewhere it took Madra 9 months to sign her first distributor, and look at where she is now. As long as you don't give up, this will happen for you. You might have to plug away longer than somebody else, but that's okay. As long as we all get to the top of the end, which we will if we keep working, whether it takes you 2 years, 5 years, or 8 years, it's still better than working a job where you're never going to get there. So this is an opportunity. This is a golden opportunity. As long as you stay committed to it and just keep doing what you know is your best, it will happen and it will come, regardless of how long it takes.
Yeah, that's so true. And Cammie, it was Cammie that took 6 or 8 months or something.
Okay.
Like
I knew it was somebody up there, top.
She's number one in the I mean, yeah. She is the top. So yeah, it took her a while to even sign a distributor, and so you're right. People, you can't get discouraged because you'll get there. And there was a distributor I heard about recently. It took her 2 years to go diamond. And then in less than 2 more years, so a total of 4 years, she's presidential. I mean, right. I would work my job my entire life and never make presidential money
exactly.
in my job prior to this. So, you know, if it takes me 5-10 years to get to presidential or ambassador, I'm going to do it because it's still more than I would ever make doing anything else.
Yes, exactly.
And it's still life-changing no matter when I get to that point. It's just a matter of sticking to it and not comparing to others, because you're gonna see people sign up and go diamond in their first, and you're gonna see people get started and just go ambassador in under a year and do all this crazy stuff. But many of them have a network built up prior to this. I didn't have any sort of network, and a lot of people don't. So you can't compare. You can't think that that you're not doing it. As long as you're plugging in and being consistent with posting on Facebook, which is so important, and plugging in to calls and events, you'll get there. You just got to keep learning and educating yourself so that you can, make sure you're wording things right or whatever it is that you work on. So, I was going to say something else. All right. Do you have anything else you wanted to share with us, Jocelyn?
I don't think so. Just keep praying, guys, and keep doing what you do, and it will come. It really will. You cannot, as long as you don't give up, you will get there. So I know that there are times it'll be discouraging. I still go through that. I signed how many distributors in the last 5 weeks, and there are still days that I sit here and look at my chart and I go, oh, I don't know how we're going to do this. March 31st is so close, but it's so far away, but it's so close. But that's, again, when you just have to stop and refocus. Focus on your why, remember why you're doing this, and just be the best you every day, and it will happen for you. So I love all of you, and I'm just so grateful for this business, for the friendships. I can't wait for Green Carpet to see you guys. It's killing me to be all the way out here in Texas. I miss y'all so much, but it's going to be an awesome reunion in July, so I'm psyched.
Yeah, I'm super excited too. I'm like, why aren't they having one in April? Because I want to see. But we are going to wrap it up here because we have an awesome new distributor training starting in a few minutes with Ambassador Diamond, Christy DeJesus. and somebody else, I forget who it is. So I'm so excited about that and checking that out and helping all these new distributors who have been joining us for the past few weeks, getting them educated. So definitely check that out tonight, guys, if you're watching this live. And if you're not watching it live, go look it up because I'm guaranteed it's going to be a new distributor started and train them the right way so that they can also rock this business with you. So have a great night, and thank you for checking it out. Thank you, Jocelyn.
Thank you, Bonnie. Love you.
All right, bye-bye.